be getting the money. And in Pakman's case specifically, if you look through his channel, it's almost all anti-Trump content, and I don't think there's hardly a word on Palestine.
Well, if I could jump in there real quickly.
I wanted to bring you in, John, here because you work there, so you have a little bit of personal knowledge of the fact that this is deliberate.
It absolutely is deliberate. I actually have an email from him after he visited the White House last year on the day of Joe Biden's State of the Union address. He was invited to a private off-the-record meeting with Kamala Harris and several other content creators, including Brian Tyler Cohen, the Mycelis brothers from Midas Touch. And he told me that they all sort of talked amongst themselves at the White House, not in like an official capacity during the meeting, but, just casually as colleagues amongst themselves. And they talked about what their editorial stance is on Gaza. And he told me in an email that they talked amongst themselves and came to the conclusion that the topic is too divisive, it might drag down their channels, that it's a poison pill, and that it's better if they just don't talk about it at all. Now, Brian Tyler Cohen literally has never done anything.
Shout out to this guy for revealing it. This is the definition of the swamp, everyone. When people talk about the rot in media, this is exactly what they're talking about. When they talk about like crony punditry and the fact that people are following a line where they're going to agree about their editorial line, that is fucking nuclear news. Guys, what the fuck are you doing?
This confirms everything that people have been saying is a conspiracy theory. This one, I mean, assuming John Ross is being honest, I've seen no reason not to trust him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he can produce this fucking email he talks about or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this is rock solid proof that we're 100% correct about the nefarious nature of this program and how they're intentionally diluting and watering down, corporatizing and gentrifying the space that should be full of radicals and truth tellers.
Yep, 100%. They're flooding the zone. They're literally just ripping off all of Donald Trump's tactics, right? He's got, they basically were like, okay, we're going to unify this independent media space and we're going to flood the zone with a bunch of anti-Trump content. And none of us are going to address the elephant in the room, which is the horrible, wretched, inhuman, devastating conduct that the president we're cheerleading for right now is responsible for. Are you fucking kidding me? And not only that, guys, they're not in any capacity independent. We have never in our lives been like, you know what, guys, let's get together after an off-the-record meeting with Kamala Harris. Are you fucking kidding me? But setting aside that insane fucking set of circumstances, we've never gotten together with a set of other content creators and be like, what's our line going to be on this? That's nuts.
Hey, guys, what tone do you think we should all take on this, modern day Holocaust?
To be fucking totally transparent, Gavin and I would never even do that with each other. We don't come out here and say, what's our line going to be on this? Are you crazy? I don't know what Gavin's going to say until he says it. And he sure as shit doesn't know what I'm going to say until I say it. You know what I mean? That's what makes this show raw, real, and independent. Oh my God. The fact that he just said that blew my mind. These people, obviously, really appreciate this guy exposing it. I said like he said it like as if he was responsible. No, the Brian Tyler Cohen, David Pakman, all these other clout chasing fucking propagandists are responsible. Yeah, shout out to this John Ross guy, and good on Nathan Robinson, who we've been critical of in the past, but got to give it to him. This was good work for him to arrange this.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to see a little bit more of this. And also, just in case anyone's confused, this is not in any way someone related to the John Ross who's a mod in our chat. I don't think he's in chat today, but it's not that John Ross.
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
Pretty funny. But either way, yeah, I mean, this is absolutely damning stuff. Let's go back and hear that one more time. Because this dude just, straight up spilled the tea. He should be lawyering up right now, because now we know how eager David Pakman is to sue everyone. He's probably going to be like, you just violated my fucking, non-disclosure agreement or something. I'm surprised that he even had the balls to make an admission like this and spill this kind of tea on Pakman and what went down behind closed doors, seemingly, from what I can infer, probably moments after that infamous photo was taken of David Pakman shaking hands with Joe Biden, freshly, on his way out of the fucking White House. Here he is shaking hands with a goofy ass David Pakman, grinning like he just got, picked as the teacher's pet.
David Super Pakman.
Yeah.
But the point is that if you said something different, you wouldn't be getting the money. And in Pakman's case specifically, if you look through his channel, it's almost all anti-Trump content, and I don't think there's hardly a word on Palestine.
Well, if I could jump in there real quickly.
I wanted to bring you in, John, here because you work there, so you have a little bit of personal knowledge of the fact that this is deliberate.
It absolutely is deliberate. I actually have an email from him after he visited the White House last year on the day of Joe Biden's State of the Union address. He was invited to a private off-the-record meeting with Kamala Harris and several other content creators, including Brian Tyler Cohen, the Mycelis brothers from Midas Touch. And he told me that they all sort of talked amongst themselves at the White House, not in like an official capacity during the meeting, but, just casually as colleagues amongst themselves. And they talked about what their editorial stance is on Gaza. And he told me in an email that they talked amongst themselves and came to the conclusion that the topic is too divisive, it might drag down their channels, that it's a poison pill, and that it's better if they just don't talk about it at all. Now, Brian Tyler Cohen literally has never done anything on Gaza. Beyond that, during the 2020 primary, even though he was regularly putting out videos covering news and politics, never once mentioned Bernie Sanders during the 2020 primary. And we see today with this rise of Zoran Mamdani, has Brian Tyler Cohen covered him? No, not at all. So I would suggest that, yes, there absolutely is suppression on Gaza, but that also goes beyond that into like a broader like shutting down of leftist issues. If you are a content creator and you have a platform of 3 million, 4 million people, and it's your job to analyze news and politics for a living, and yet you don't ever mention Gaza, it's like, I just don't understand how you would be able to sleep with yourself at night. I certainly wasn't able to when I worked for him. To be honest, I sort of feel like I have
good for this
on my
guy.
hands, where it's like he has this.
Yeah, good for this guy. And this is how a real regular person with a heart and a soul and a conscience reacts to this. He's like, fuck, this was my job. Of course, there was a lot of instability. If you have a job in media, do you guys know how hard it is? So if you like consider where this guy's at for a moment, all of your selfish instincts are going to tell you to just be like, fuck, okay, like I hope this is just like a short issue in the news cycle, and then this actually isn't as bad as everybody's saying it's going to be, right? But for him to be like, no, I have to draw the line, I have to leave, I can no longer support David Pakman, I don't want to be in cahoots with Brian Tyler Cohen. Shout out to the Humanist Report for being in our chat. Mike Figueredo, great friend of the show, our dear Uncle Mike. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that's weighs heavily on him. He said he feels like he has blood on his hands. Like, as a ruthless commentator and media critic, I'll be like, John, you're not responsible. You're not culpable in this. David Pakman is culpable and responsible for and shame on him for misusing his platform so brazenly and so excessively that you, an employee who trusted him to lead his operation in at least a somewhat ethical direction, was forced to abandon your paying job, your source of income to feed yourself in order to act in line with your own ethics, which is really admirable.
Yeah. Shout out to this guy for spilling the tea. I imagine part of the reason why he's going out here in such a courageous way to speak the truth about what he experienced and what he witnessed. I imagine part of the reason why he's choosing to do that is because of the fact that, as he says, he feels somewhat complicit in this, which I don't believe he should. He left. He made the right decision. But David Pakman is 100% complicit, and this only adds evidence to that. If you're someone who has access to the president of the United States while that person is carrying out a genocide, funding and enabling a modern day Holocaust, you have access to that person, and you use that access not to challenge that, not to do everything in your power to change his mind and to beg with him to reverse his decision, which is what any moral person with an actual understanding of the crisis would do. No, instead you use that access for a photo op, a disgusting photo op where you shake the monster's hand and then pump out propaganda for him professionally, whitewashing the crimes of the party that you claim is an alternative to fascism. That's deeply fucking disgusting, and it does implicate you in this crime against humanity. It absolutely does. It makes you a propagandist for evil. And I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, but that is what David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen do in this specific instance on the topic of Gaza. And this is proof of it.
Oh, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. And another clip, it's funny, and another very Trumpian maneuver, Gavin. David Pakman reached out to somebody else who was in hot water and in a little bit of trouble with the public, and decided to collaborate with him and pretend that nothing was going on.
Was this a new clip or is this an older one? I couldn't tell.
Potentially, I guess maybe this is a dug up old clip. It was recirculating around Twitter. If it was old, I'm going to interpret it as if it's new. Maybe it is old, but either way, very, very revealing of the kind of progressive David Pakman is. And he's going to come out and he's going to tell you he is not, in fact, a progressive. He is a corporatist, right-leaning Democrat. All right. But we can hear it from the horse's mouth in so many words.
Yeah, let's take a look. Again, I'm not exactly sure when this clip aired, but it might be recent.
On the progressive movement. And the reason I want to talk to you about this is I see you really, when people ask me, who do you see right now as the sort of progressive that you like to be at the head of this movement going forward? I think of you, and there's a bunch of different reasons why. And unfortunately, there is right now.
You think of literally the least popular member of Congress amongst the base of progressives in this country. Everybody fucking hates Richie Torres. Nobody likes him.
Now, a bit of a division, as I see it, on the left on a number of issues. That includes foreign policy. Certainly, the Israeli-Gaza situation has brought this into the forefront for a lot of people. On the progressive.
So, pretty crazy that he said that if he had one person that could be the face of the progressive movement, it would be Richie Torres. Are you kidding me? At least all of this has just revealed the fact that David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen are not real progressives. They're absolutely not progressives. They're not people who speak from their soul. They are robots. They are propagandists, and they do not have any ethics or morals or values.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it's just, regardless of who Richie Torres is, imagine using your platform as a so-called journalist to just suck up to the powerful person you're interviewing like that, instead of even trying to pretend to actually do your fucking job to challenge them at all. You're just like, I think you should be the future of the party, mister. Like, it's fucking sickening. It's fucking disgusting. And again, even like, we'll give credit to corporate Democrats when they actually are good on TV or have a good strategy. Like, we did a couple videos where we were like, hey, we got to be honest, Gavin Newsom is kind of onto something with this whole like pretending to be Trump on Twitter thing. His posts are going viral. It's getting under the skin of Republicans. It's triggering MAGA. We gave him credit, and I'll give credit to politicians when they are good at being a politician. Like, even someone like Josh Shapiro, I can admit, he's good on the microphone. He's like pretty telegenic. He can rile up the crowd. He has a high approval rating with Democrats in Pennsylvania. Despite all of my criticisms of him, I can still be objective. But to say that Richie Torres is one of the talented Democrats, like he should be the face of the fucking party, even if you are a Zionist, even if you are an establishment corporate Democrat, to say that that guy should be elevated, that's just a recipe to lose again. Regardless of who the Republicans put up, they could defeat Richie Torres easy as fuck. It's not even a question. This guy sucks. He would be rejected by a broader electorate 100% in a way that even other corporate Democrats might not.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there.